According to The Guardian, the UK's Reeves Moll's raising capital gains tax as high as 39%.
Oh, you guys hear me in YouTube land? Thank you, Madam Shizzy. All right, I'll be back in a minute after the disclaimer stuff.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment and host Apple Senate Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results and all of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and its webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. The analysis and setups I share are trades and potential trades that I'm taking for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach traders how to identify specific areas to trade with an edge for themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and could potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that help me pinpoint exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices to enter trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy this spreadsheet and enter in your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices until you're able to draw the zones correctly yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade.
Order filled.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Whipsaw Central.
According to RIA, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister says a new
All right, so there's like Iran news coming out.
Held in New York
I was short crude. I'm not stopped out yet, but you know, this is what's been going on the last few weeks. It's like you get a position on and then they come out and say something and there's some news, and so you either have to decide you're not going to trade it during this period or you're going to accept whatever comes over the wire. Just like if you're trading ES, you have to accept when 0 day to expiration games start being played. There's no way you're going to know this is coming, just like you don't know a news story is coming. But I was short ES. Luckily, I was able to trail my stop to this one, so it was basically a break even. But I was short off the get-go, off the stop run. We did the ATR, the retest, the confirm. New event came in. The way I trade these is I trail my stop to the newest event. That's the only time I trail my stop. And it came up and got stopped out. But you can see right here, right around 8:49 Central, this thing moved notionally over $1 billion, which is, he says, Brent from Spot Gamma says $1 billion is a good sized notional move. So that is exactly where this thing turned around. How do you know that's coming? You don't. So you just trade your strategies and your edge, put your stops in, and hope that they don't do that. So that's pretty much looks like what drove this move higher. So I stopped out there. I did take losses, and I had Barks and Licks and YM as well. This thing turned around and ripped too. Looks like I got stopped out to the tick as usual here. Yep, there you go. So not only has the trade been so difficult, then I've been ticked, like, you know, I get ticked 10 times a day. Anyway, this did this. You actually could have got out of some there. I'm not going to get into that. That's a little more advanced. But anyway, I put on this Bark and Lick algo guy. So we use this exponential moving average. I use it to as a filter for these Bark and Lick trades. And this was bearish at the time. So I took the trade. Didn't work. On to the next trade. So, you know, no surprise. These markets just, refuse to sell off. You just got to deal with it. I still, I don't want to say I think a sell-off is coming. I mean, nothing about this, the bigger picture view looks bearish right now, right? So, talked about this in my room over the last few days. Then you had that, and that broke down, got through there. So this market should have been killed many times in trading and markets when something should happen that doesn't. Expect multiples the other way, and that's exactly what happened there. And then we had some, we took like this is a 1 day, or we took a failed balance breakout the other day on that. Anyway, that's the most current balance. That was yesterday's action. So pretty important on what happens here, right? So this tried to break down. This is where I was short. Here it is back at this high volume node. The high volume node of a balance area is just where the middle of a balance area. It's just an area where the most trade occurred. So pretty important what happens here. If this rips higher, that's a failed balance breakdown of that guy. I'll take that particular trade on new events that come in. If this fails, then wait for new events to get short. So this latest stop run here proved bullish, right? So this is the zone drawing tool. I'll put this stuff in the room.
Fed Scoresby in a CNBC interview says
Oh,
inflation
and
came
of course
in
we got
around
Fed chirps
expectations,
too.
and
So
there's an improvement.
they
on
just
the
come out
housing
every
front.
day and just prop this market up. Anyway, that is a bullish event. I didn't take anything aggressively, meaning first move out of the zone. That is my entry, this yellow line.
And the
But if it
overall
does the
trend is
retest
clearly that
confirm,
inflation
I'll
has
take
come down
bark,
a lot.
lick, and fail balance breakout
EL1
to
validated.
the long side. And you can see this algo guy is starting to pull the other way. So if this
Scoresby says the
crosses,
job
I could put
market
on
is
barks and
close
licks.
to a
That's
level
my
of full
fault. Let me
employment.
turn this down a little bit. So just waiting to see what happens here. I am currently long NASDAQ based off this event. I was so excited. I thought we were finally going to get a sell-off today, and then it just holds its head as usual. So I am long
S&P
NASDAQ.
stocks
There it is.
stopped by ES 712
We just got another
contracts.
stop run here. I had a reversion trade on. Let me get out of this. So the way I get out of my revert, I haven't talked about the reversion yet, but I get out the minute I hear a new event. So let me get out of this puppy.
NQ long validated.
Order filled.
What did I just fill in here? Okay, so I'm currently long NASDAQ.
Goolsby says I'm in total agreement.
That guy's
with the
chirping
spirit
here,
of
so
what
this is
Fed
another
Chair
thing,
said.
right? You got positions on, they come out. You just got to hope they don't say something contrary to your counter to your position, right? So anyway, we had a bias event here. It actually confirmed here as a bullish event. I'm sorry.
Goolsby
here.
says we've shifted now to a more normal, balanced risk environment.
Hold on, guys. My typical leaving orders in the order book. Anyway, so the way we confirm these events is if the market's able to push an ATR. So that was the current ATR for this guy, right? And a new event came in after this, but it did confirm. And then it did retest right there. That's the game over and over and over. And then I took the long there. I got in off that. And then I can also add to this trade, potentially. This one just confirmed here. So if it does this, I'll add to those barks and licks that I already have on. But I traded off of this guy long. So I'm currently long. We just got some stops in ES. So if this turns bullish, I'm going to take the failed balance breakout that I just showed you. And I know you guys can hear the disappointment in my voice because I was thinking today we might actually sell off for once. That is not happening. I love when we sell off because the market's so nonsensical, in my opinion, for what's going on in the world. But it is what it is. You got to trade what you see. So you can see this volume event is coming in right here, right now. Very important what happens here. The current balance. So this is just a thesis based on what I'm seeing here. I take shorts, longs and shorts, depending on my important areas. If the volume of a stop iceberg event happens in those areas, but I come up with a thesis, and this is actually one of the newest trading strategies we have, where I'm looking for that. Once I get a volume event above that high volume node, I get in aggressively. So if this newest event stays bullish, I will take the failed balance breakout there. Find nothing. So that entry, so this is how I trade these, and this is from trading tens of thousands of these over the last 8 years, right? So I don't just jump in a trade when the stuff fires off. I have different 6 distinct setups based on these stop iceberg events, right? So stop runs and icebergs are basically what drives this. I mean, there's other drivers, but these are the best ways to validate important areas or thesis. So anyway, if this moves out of here, I'm going to take the long 58.39.50, and this the zone drawing tool gives you put in your capital, what you want to risk per trade. Again, I'm risking $500 on a trade on these Apex accounts. You know, if I say it every week, you should not be risking 10% of your account size on an individual trade. 2% max if you're trading your own money that you're living on. Highly recommended. And if that comes up there, I will take that trade. And then
CL disqualified.
as far as potential shorts here, depending on which way this breaks, this didn't quite. Yeah, actually, I should have. I gotta adjust this zone, guys. So this is for my room more, because this market actually gapped down.
Stop field.
What was that? I just stopped out of my crude shorts. So great day so far, minus the great part. But as you know, this is trading. You got to just keep putting on your trades, and when you have an edge, and I know I have an edge. Anyway, I would consider this an IZZY. This is an important area inflection zone. This is where this failed yesterday. There was a selling tail, and it gapped down today, and it's actually the high volume node of this balance. So, if this current stop run proves bearish, I'm going to take a short. If it proves bullish, I'm going to take the failed balance breakout, and I could probably take Barks and Licks too. So, I will put that IZZY right now, 58.23 is the IZZY if that fails. Put that in here. And I can put on 6. And then on the flip side, if this breaks higher, I'm getting at 58.39, and that's the FBB. Failed balance breakout. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second on my trading strategies that I'm referring to, that I give my trade room. So these are the strategies I'm referring to. So all these are my important areas that I look for, right? So
Stock by CL 163
right, so again, this, you know, just quickly, I stopped out of this trade. I had a feeling this was coming. I was in this, and then the squat guy came and said Iran was talking. And, you know, that's, again, if you're going to trade these markets, gold and crude, you got to be okay with the news stories, and that's all that's been happening lately. So there's a new event here. I'll come back to that, but I just stopped out of those shorts. So anyway, these are my important areas that I look for the SI events to confirm those areas, right? And they could be any areas that, you know, if you watch different things than I watch, which is very likely, that's fine. But what I'm saying is wait for something real time to happen in those areas to judge if you're going to trade that area, not instead of just blindly trading the area, right? So, because this is real time volume that's hitting the market, so we want to take advantage of that. Let me just see where we're at here. So I am long NASDAQ. Mr. NASDAQ, I will call him right now, so he doesn't screw me over. So what I do, I want to see some potential areas that I will get out of this trade if this keeps ripping. I will get out of, I only have 3 of them on, 3 micros on, because that's, you know, according to my risk level. I will get out of half of the yellow lug. That's where I usually get out of some, or not, I can't get out of half. I'll get out of 1 at the yellow lug if it gets up there. Other than that, there's really nothing for me to get out from my areas. So these, when I'm talking about this is what I'm referring to, that I get my trade room, and if you come in my trade room, you got to tattoo this to your forehead, a real tattoo, and then read it in the mirror every day. But you got to get the tattoo backwards, so when you look in the mirror, you can read this properly. But that's a requirement for my
CL
room.
long validated.
So this is what I'm talking about when I say I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. This whole document is directly out of Trading the Zone. I obviously added my own stuff in, and these are my areas that I will get out. I have a position on, right? So I've been going back and forth with a guy in my trade room where I put on trades, and it's like not even a full 1-to-1, and I get out of some. I don't get out of them all, and he's like, well, don't you want 2, 3 R in your trades? Yes, I'm fully aware of the R factor, and yeah, I would love a 10-to-1 trade, a 5-to-1 trade. But that doesn't mean when the market starts moving in my favor and we're at important areas, whatever it may be that I deem important, that I don't get out of some if it starts to fail out of that areas, right? So overall, absolutely, if you want to put on trade and say, I'm holding this thing until I get 3R
Taking a look at
3R out
Ethereum
of the
Greed
trade,
Index, 71
or
odds, 100
bust,
equaling
meaning
greed.
stop
The
out.
crypto Ethereum
Over the
Greed
long run,
Index,
yeah,
39
that's
odds,
probably
100 equaling
will
fear.
work.
And
But
looking at the VIX,
one,
currently down
you're going to have
0.29% to 20
you're going to put on trades where the thing goes in your favor, and you're just watching it bounce off important areas, but you need your 3 to 1, so then you watch it come all the way back and you stop out, right? I get out at important areas, so if it starts to fail, then if it does come back, at least I got out of some. That's how I trade. If you want to hold trades for 3R and nothing but, or 2R, or whatever your R is, go ahead and do what you want to do. But that I am not going to ignore important areas as the market makes money available to me, is the point, right? So that's how I piece out. And then as far as trailing stops, I've already said it. I've said it a million times. I do not, like, this market's moving in my favor. I do not say, oh, okay, we got a little bit, I'm going to move my stop to break even. That's just the dumbest thing you could possibly do, in my opinion, because these algos, that's what they know. Retail traders do that, and then they also can see when the big money's in here playing, and when they're not, that's when they start their games. You can see the games right there, right? You see them putting in orders, and then the market does putting them, putting them in, pulling them, and you get whipsawed out of the trade, right? So that's why I don't move my stop to break even. The only time I move my stop is if I get a new event and I trail it to that, right? So. And then that's also why I force the market to get outside of an ATR to enter, and also to move back the other way outside of an ATR for me to get out of the trade, because I do my best to avoid this nonsense, right? So, these are firms, players that are trying to take your money. This is a zero-sum game. This is not like be nice, everyone's nice to each other. They're trying to take your money. So I do my best. The best way, in my opinion, from watching so many of these, is to move your stops outside of the area and ATR. So that's how I trade.
Speaks in a fireside chat on the 2025 economic outlook.
All right, so I may be filled here on another short in the ES. I can't wait, because they've worked out so well lately. But that's my area. I got my event right at the bottom of this zone. Again, if you're in my trade room, I adjusted this a little bit because I just missed where this gap down, because I did it before the open. That's an Izzy trade, so that was an event at an important area. I'll take it.
Concern on passive tightening,
and then I'm going to keep an eye on the algo guy too. If this thing pulls back bearish, and you can see it hasn't really pulled yet. It's trying, but if this comes back down again, I'll put on barks and licks off of this guy just like I did originally. So just waiting to see what happens here off this event. Crude is ripping off the page, and wow, look what just got filled there. I can't believe this liquidity got their fills on the day. That's how it works. So this is a magnet. It's not opposite, right? So again, this is just showing you what's in the order book, the dome, what was there. So newer traders will see this like, wow, someone really wants to sell up there, I want to be short. No, it's actually the opposite. The longer this is here, the more they want to get filled. Perfect example, right? If this thing's just this liquidity, these orders are just sitting in here for hours and hours and hours, they're okay getting filled. Meaning if a news story comes out, which is basically what's going on, they're fine with it running right through their orders. Well, that means they want the fill. They're not afraid to get run over, right? So that's why you can use this stuff to come up with a thesis at the beginning of the day. So you pull up your market, you see where all the liquidity is. Some days it's on both sides of the market. Other days it's just stacked one way, and you can bet your bottom dollar that it's going to make it up there eventually, right? So that's exactly what happened, and you can see there's more up here too, and I will bet anything this gets filled. Not necessarily right now, but I'll bet by the end of the day this gets filled too, right? So the big money runs the show. You can see what they're doing with the liquidity, with the icebergs, right? You can see what they're doing. What could I have done? I don't think I could have done anything alongside after this guy. So anyway, new events. Let's see what we can do here. If you dare want to trade crude to the short side, anyway, this is an Izzy zone. Right there. This is from stuff that happened before, and then this started this directional conviction down. So this is pretty much a straight move. I mean, it kind of meandered today a little bit, but I will take this last stop run. Proves bearish. I'm taking the short. That's one of my important areas. Here's an event, right? And then let's see what we got on market profile. So these are the areas that I check to see where we're at, to see if I'm going to take trades. Nothing market profile. We're right in the middle of this latest composite, or this prior composite here. and nothing on the Ludwig levels. That's another very, very important area that I look at. So the only thing I can take on the short side is an Izzy. On the long side, if this turns bullish, I can take Barks and Licks. Obviously, Algo Guy is bullish. Again, I call it Algo Guy. This is exponential moving average ribbon, right? So all these different little lines are different time periods. So the red's a longer time period, the blue's a shorter time period intervals. If the blue is above the red, then it's a bearish or a bullish scenario. This can flip on the dime, right? We actually have a trade for that when that happens as well. But the point is, there's a lot of algos that trade off of this, so it behooves you to try to align yourself with this the best you can, and that's what I do with my Bark and Lick trade. So that's obviously bullish, so I can take Barks and Licks off of this. I can actually take Barks and Licks off of this guy as long as, oh, I take that back. Well, it's going to be close. But see, remember how I said I always default to the most recent event, right? So if this touches the ATR line, that makes this a bearish event. So I couldn't go long off of that prior one, right? And you can see it's like right there. Actually, this is the retest, the actual retest. So there is a chance I can still go long Barks and Licks off of this as long as it doesn't tag the ATR. If it moves an ATR out of the event, this is a bearish event. And that's how I trade them. So if this does move lower, I'm going to take it Izzy short. And that should be a blast like it's been lately. And you can see my entries. So my entries are 115% of an ATR. So I push it outside of the ATR because there's so many algos that like to jump the thing back to the volume event at the exact ATR or just in front of it. We got the natural gas number coming out here too. So I push my entry, and that's the yellow line. I'm going to put the zone drawing, the document here with the zone drawing tool. You guys can get access to it on the Bookmap Marketplace. My entry's there. So 74.62 if I'm going to go short, but I'm not entering right in the middle of this prior event, so I'm just going to move it down to 59, right? Because I just been burned. I got burned the other day in NASDAQ. I bitched about it for the last 2 days, but I shouldn't have entered. I entered like literally right in front of the zone. And I was long, and then I got short, and then I got stopped out, and then it bounced right off the zone, and it was brutal. So anyway, I do my best when I can to get my entries outside of prior events. So I will enter that Izzy short if this comes back at 74.59. Again, it feels terrible, right? It's like I'm really going to short this, and there's nothing wrong with just not trading crude right now either, right? It's been very, very difficult, as well as gold. Wish I didn't stop out of this guy yet. So I was short gold. I haven't stopped out yet, but that's not holding my breath on that one either. So anyway, I'm working the Izzy short and crude. If it moves higher, then I can take Barks and Licks long. Still haven't been filled on this Izzy short and ES. Still hasn't even proven to be a bearish event yet. It needs to touch the ATR. So let me put this document in the YouTube channel real quick. You guys can follow along with what I'm talking about. So the very top of this, sorry, that's the instructions. Where is the document at? Hold on. Any questions as well, put them in the YouTube channel, please, because I don't see Discord as of right now. Just trying to find this document for you guys. Alright, so this is the drawing tool that I'm referring to, Marketplace. I think they have we had it on beta for a long time. I think you got so you got the basic and the pro here. So the pro gives you all the different, it goes over what it does, but the basic is just basically drawing the zone and giving you the current ATR. The pro gives you all these other areas as far as, the entry, exit. So what this is just my spreadsheet, trading spreadsheet, overlaid on the heat map, right? So this is the spreadsheet where you do the same thing. And if you remember my trade room, you get access to the spreadsheet, so you can do this all without the zone drawer. But the zone drawer is just it's going to take years off your life from drawing zones and then entering the prices in. It's all right in front of you. Anyway, that's what this is over here. Actually, NQ just retested. So I can add to these Barks and Licks I already had on, right? And then here's the pattern. We're right back to the zone, bounces off. I'm already long Bark and Lick. I'm going to add to them. Let's And look. So of course that's the, guys, it's just amazing how accurate these lines are as far as the market responding to them. I cannot tell you how many times a day I get ticked out, right? I mean, this is what we've come up with. I've moved this entry over the years to try to get the best entry, but as far as not getting algoed, it's still ridiculous. Like, look at that. It tags the exact price and comes back. But anyway, this is another trade that we take, the reversion trade, where you're taking a move back to the volume event, right? So that's more of a scalp. We'll talk about that a little bit. I don't take these trades on the webinars. It's just too hard to keep up with them. I take position trading strategies. So again, back to the spreadsheet.
1 minute remaining.
The top of this is for the position trading, where I'm looking for bigger moves. The bottom of it is the ATR reversion strategy, where we're taking 1 ATR, 2 ATR, 3 ATR trades, depending on, and you don't know which one's going to work. So if you're going to pick one of these, you just take as many as you can to let the probabilities pay out. But that's what that trade is, and it's just uncanny how often this happens. Every market, all day long, it's ridiculous. All right, so I actually have this strategy working at a trading firm. It's automated right now, so I can't keep up with it anyway. So that's a good thing. It's only taking a certain variation of this, but the point is, there you go. Right, so it's unbelievable how many times these markets come back to these events. So we try to take advantage of it. All right, so anyway, I was long NASDAQ off of this guy, Bark and Lick, like I talked about at the beginning of the webinar.
Build 82 BCF, build
Right.
82 BCF, higher than the
ATR,
expected build of
retest.
76 BCF.
Confirm, got long there, and then this buy ice came in, it went ATR, retest, confirm. So again, built to the exact tick. So I added to my Bark and Lick there. Another trade I actually can take here that I forgot about. This is right borderline, but I could take the fail balance breakdown of that guy too. Right? We just talked about this in ES. If that happens, try to break down, put in a buying tail. That's bullish in its own right, right? And then it's right here. Volume events. Volume event was a little lower, so I'm going to wait for the FBB. If I get a volume event any higher than this, then I will take that trade aggressively, the same as I will do. I already have working in the ES, right? We've already covered this, but I'm not going to take it off of this event because this entry is right at that spot. So if I get a new event moving higher, and you can see all the liquidity up here as far as where this is probably going. If I get a new event, then I'll take the FBB, but I'm long 2 times size, 2 different strategy, or Bark and Lick twice off of 2 different events. And then ES, depending on what this does, and it still has not shown its hand, I will take an IZZY short, or I'm going to take an FBB long. So this still has not pushed an ATR out of here either way. Here's another example of the 1 ATR working. There's the ATR, tagged it, right back to the zone, the exact price at the zone. I mean, it's just uncanny how these lines are exactly what these markets do. It's ridiculous. It's really annoying too, especially when you get tagged on it. Anyway, so that excuse me, so that zone drawing tool that I'm showing you, the pro version of that.
Prior CL long retested. CL short
Fed
validated.
Sparkin says inflation is headed in the right direction.
All right, so I just filled on that. Crude short. So this should be fun. To the tick, as usual. I had it at 59. Touch 59. This is my life. 20 times a day. It's just it could drive you literally crazy. I'm already crazy, but it's insanity how often that happens, and then right back up. Anyway, I took the IZZY short there. I'm in to the tick, and here's my stop, 75.35. I put on 7 of them. I think I put on 7 of them. Yeah. So this is how I trade it, right? So I made it push an ATR out of here, and I tried to put my entry below the zone. I still got ticked, right? And the whole point was I didn't want to fill into this stuff. I put it a tick below, and it's still a low tick. And then for me to be wrong on this trade, it's got to come back a full ATR. It's got to get through the volume event, and it's got to move outside of over an ATR outside of the zone. Yes, I'm risking way more. I know traders want to put on trades and they only want to risk 10 ticks to make 30. Have fun with that. Have fun playing with these guys all day long. Over the long run, you are just going to churn yourself. Even if you are profitable at that, you're just going to churn yourself down with commission. back and forth with commission every time. You're risking 10 to make 30. You get stopped out. You get stopped out. It's just not the way to trade, in my opinion, especially position trading. So anyway, that's the fill. I'm forcing this market to do all of that for me to be wrong, and that's the best way that I can to defend myself against these algos. Put this stop in. All right, that's working. It's unbelievable how often that happens. I say it all day, every day, and then I just never get over it. Anyway, so the pro version of that gives you the ATR lines and the entry and the exit. The basic just basically draws a zone for you and gives you the ATR down here. And you can see all that when you click on that. So that's that. That's the first thing here. Here's my course that we talk about. I'll get into all this, but this is where you learn how to trade these setups. These volume setups based on what they are: stops, buy stops, sell stops, buy ice, sell ice. So we have all these different variations of how we trade these areas. And
Yes,
it's
short
just,
validated.
all right, so I just filled on that. Is he short? I believe. Yes. I'm going to put this on this one too. So I've got opposing positions on. That is not fun. Obviously, don't enjoy that. But the strategy's called for me to put that on. And lo and behold, look at I know you guys won't believe this, but I just got filled to the exact tick. It's just crazy. There you go. So filled, bounces up. So I'm short ES and I'm long NASDAQ, so that's not fun. It's not an intentional spread per se, but it is what it is. So if this comes back, I'll put it on this account too. Out of that. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right. So I'm short to the tick. We'll see what happens here. I have not looked at Hero yet. I already got screw jobbed on that earlier when the 0 day to expiration ripped. We actually just got a flow alert here too. Let's see. So this is actually bullish, right? As far as he talks about. I don't have trading strategies off of this. I don't avoid trades because of this, but keep an eye on it because he says, watching this hero line, when it's moving in a certain direction and you get the flow many times, once this thing levels out, then it starts to move. This is the market, by the way. Then it starts to move the other way. So, I currently don't use that as a filter in my trading. If I lose enough of them, like say right now, I'm going to be short.
Filled.
Right? So I'm short. If I keep seeing this thing every time I go short and I see this flow and it's validating like his pattern, then I'm gonna adapt to that and put it in my trading. Right now, I haven't seen enough of it to add it to my trading. That's another thing traders do. The newest thing that day, they just throw in their trading. I need to, not that I'm not willing to adapt. I mean, I've adapted with a lot of stuff like Algo Guy, using Algo Guy in my trading and learned this from a guy I was mentoring, right? It took me months of watching it to trust it, right? The Ludwig levels. I had a guy in the trade room right when I started the trade room back in 2021. He was swearing by these things, and I listened to him, but I didn't put him into my trading. And then I watched him for a few months, and I said these things are absolutely ridiculously good, right? And then that's when I added in my trading. So I will add things to my trading. You always want to be evolving in your trading, but I don't just look at something one day and throw it in my trading, right? So my point is with this hero, this is obviously very, very important information. What you have to understand, though, these guys are not the only players in the market. Some days they are, like we showed the example today. That opened, that 0 date to expiration move, that hero move to start. The market followed this move exactly, right? So they are big players. Because these futures dealers have to hedge. I mean, these options dealers have to hedge with futures. So they are a huge player, but they're not the only player in here, right? So anyway, it's very important information. I'm going to have trading strategies based off this too. So anyway, like we talked about in the beginning, I was short that, and that was a billion notional move, which he says is important, and that's exactly where this thing stopped on a dime and ripped right there. So right now, nothing's going on. This thing looks like it's running the show. So once again, fell to the tick. And my stop needs to go up here. This won't be so painful if this loses because I'm still long Nasdaq, but again, I don't like having opposing trades on. It is what it is. If I get an event in an important area, I'm not taking a trade just because I have the opposing position on another one. So 58.39 is my stop for this. Trying to put it into my other account, and it's Tradeovate, and they came out with some ridiculous centering thing that you can't stop. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. So if anyone who's using Tradeovate, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like you scroll up to put your stop in, and the thing just keeps recentering, and they have no method to stop it. It's literally, I could probably hire an 8th grade programmer to figure out how to do that, and they claim they don't have a way to do it. It's unbelievable to me. So I'll bitch about that the entire webinar too. All right, so currently I'm short crude, fell to the tick. It's torturing me there. Nasdaq, I am long. So this is torturing me this way. Yep, there it is. Just keeps bouncing off of that. Fell to the tick here too, pretty much. So we've got that on, and I'm short ES, and fell to the tick there too. Like it is, guys. Imagine watching this like 30 times a day over 20 years. I mean, I didn't have the drawing tool 20 years ago, but it's like it wears on you in certain days. It's kind of ridiculous. All right, let's see what else is going on. Anything? So I'm still short gold from this morning. It did not stop me out. This is a perfect example. Not that this necessarily is going to be winning trade. I did get out of some here. So this is one of my areas we talked about earlier. Struggled to get through resting liquidity, right? So I was short off of this guy. Actually, it was this dude here. And I had 4 on, I got out of 1 there, and then I'm holding the rest. So this is why I force these markets to come all the way here to stop me out, because it's just, when a market looks like a Christmas tree, it's algos, right? So if I'm going to be wrong, it's got to push all the way out of here. If not, then I hold it, and gold's probably number 1 that does this juke and then comes all the way back. So still short that. Actually, I did not put tick strike on. I'm annoyed enough today. I didn't want to have to listen to nothing worse than watching your positions go against you and listening to them.
Prior CL long entered.
Right, that is working. So, long Nasdaq. All right, so I do need to put these Nasdaq shorts in. So the way I do this. So remember, I was long off of this first one down here, the stop run, and then I added off of this one. So I'm trailing my stop to this most recent event, and I did not put these in yet. So you can see the stop is down here, 333.75 for the Nasdaq. And you guys, I mean, this is how it's been. It's just whipsaw, sit here, do nothing for hours and hours and hours. It's just how it's been lately. It's been a very, very difficult trading environment. So what I've been telling my room lately, like guys are talking in there like, oh, I broke even today. If you're breaking even right now, you're doing a good job, right? It's just, this is just a function of markets. You've got to accept when it trades like this, right? So it's just like a market, your P&L, right? So markets are either trending, balancing, or trending. Balancing or trending. Hopefully it's trending that way, right to zero. So your P&L is pretty similar to, especially if you're struggling, it's because these markets have basically been doing this and just whipsawing you to death, right? The point is though, your P&L will look like this, right? Make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little. And then you'll have a big day and you're back to this. And you never have one of these because you stop yourself at a certain percentage for the day where you say, Uncle, this stuff's just not making sense today. I'm done, right? You never give back. And then eventually your equity curve looks like that, right? If you have an edge, which is what I'm showing you, the best edge I've ever seen in trading. You are not going to make whatever amount you think in your head every day like it's a job. Like you just come in, you click you timestamp your card and you make $1,000 every day, like you're getting, like a regular job. Yes, you can average whatever amount you want to average, if you have the right account size. So if you want to make $1,000 a day, then yeah, you can average that. You're not going to make $1,000 every day. It's just not a function of how these markets work, right? So I just crack up these traders that I get emails from saying, I just want to make $500 every day. It's like, okay, well, so do I. It's just not the way these markets trade. You can average that. But, all right, so the whipsaw continues in every single market. Let me see if you guys got any questions in here. Let's see. No, Dominic Martinelli, a fellow Italian, like that. Hey Scott, what is your threshold for MQ? 150 is the threshold for MQ. So that's another thing with the zone drawing tool too, right?
Yes, short
It's
retested.
drawing these zones based on my thresholds from watching, again, thousands and thousands of these things to figure out what is an important volume amount to be tradable, right? So it's not just trading every blip. Like say, for instance, you're looking at here, here's 104 sell ice. You can see it there in the bottom left, right? Or 98, whatever it was. I don't trade that. That's just it's not a market moving amount, in my opinion. All right, so let me, and then she says, I know exactly what you're talking about. The trader evade it happened to me this morning. It's a joke. It's like, I cannot, like, what are they doing? How do you have a something that you apply and you don't have a way to not, like, if I don't want the thing to auto center, then I don't want it to auto center. So they don't have any way of, here, I'll give you an example here. So this is one of my live accounts with the Apex stuff. So it's like I'll put in this order, right? So say I have an order in NASDAQ and I go up here I want to put my stop in and say it's up here. I go to do it and then it just recenters. And they have no way to stop that. It's like their response to me was, hold shift in your scroll wheel and you can make the prices more condensed. That'll help you out. It's like, so it's like I literally have to come up here to put my stop in, and the thing a lot of times, especially if it's NASDAQ, it just recenters. How do you not have a method to turn that off? It's trader bait. You should be literally embarrassed, honestly. Like it's maddening and embarrassing. All right, here's another retest of the zone. Wow, look, I can't believe this. These markets are chopping around like this. Oh wait, that's all they do lately. So that's that. I'll just go over the rest of the stuff while we get whipsawed. If you were in these trades with me, again, these webinars are not made to mirror my trades. You need to, the whole idea is to teach you guys how to do this for yourself. You're never going to make money consistently being a follower of somebody else's trades. You learn to do this for yourself. That's the whole idea of the trade room. Some people don't like that. They come in there, they think I'm just going to call out trades. I call it my trades, what I'm doing, but it's to learn what I'm doing so you can do it for yourself. So anyway, went over the zone drawing tool, and these are YouTube. You can go watch what I'm talking about, on there for the tool. There's the course. Again, I go over this every week. Let me pull this up. I'll talk about these different events that I trade off of. We have 6 distinct events. Second here. What is going on here? No, I can't. I might not be able to show you that. They changed something on this Kajabi website. Hold on. Might as well. You can at least watch the whipsaw while I figure this out. Enjoy it. This thing. I show it every week. Oh, here it is. Products. Courses. All right, sorry for the delay there. So this is what I'm talking about with the course, right? So I go over. This is everything that you need to know about this stuff, like the settings here, there's thresholds, the settings for Bookmap, the settings for the sweeps, non-chart, sub-chart, on-chart, and then how to draw the zones manually, right? Because we didn't have the zone drawer until very recently, but this is a progression because I was actually drawing them wrong, and they still worked. It was still an edge, but it wasn't the exact prices like we have now, as you can see with my exact fills. But this is how to draw the zones manually, and then these are the setups I'm referring to, right? So the Dumb and Dumber, Stop and Hold, Titanic, Double Whammy, Step Bros. So these are the 6 distinct setups I look for in my important areas, right? And then how to use the ATR and the advanced drawing of zone, trading in the zones, and then my beautiful face there. So that's that. Let's see what Nasdaq's doing here. Now, this is brutal, guys. I can't tell you how many times I've said that the last month. This is brutal. This is brutal. This is brutal. And we, probably haven't even had half the afternoon webinars just because it's like it's watching this, for an hour and a half. It's just not fun. So this thing just keeps whipsawing back and forth. So again, I draw these zones every morning for my trade room. So I'll show you my trade room here. Maybe they might be complaining about the
Fed's
trade.
Barkin says the Fed
Oh,
should
and we
have
got Fed
begun
talk
raising
too,
rates in
so.
2021.
So anyway, this is the trade room, and these traders come in here, and even though no one's putting anything in today, that's a little disheartening. But anyway, so you go over here on the left, and you get access to these zones every day, right? So you can have my Izzy zones, my inflection zones. It's not rocket science how I draw these, right? I draw these based on the 4 important areas of charting. So tops and bottoms of balance areas. This is how I draw these zones, right? And many of them align where everything's happening, right? So for instance, this was the bottom of this buying or this balance area, right? But other things happen here. Buying tail, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail launches. So tops and bottoms of balance areas, high volume nodes of balance areas. I'll draw the zones, especially if it's, I'll only draw those if it's lined up with something else because I just have too many. There's already a lot of these on the chart, right? And then directional conviction. That's where you want to draw that zone. So I'd add a zone here, right, where huge directional conviction starts, and gaps are considered directional conviction. And then buying and selling tails. So this zone, there's stuff happened over here, but you can see this was such an important zone where the market just kept rejecting buying tail, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail, and then it actually ended up launching from there. So this is where these zones are. So this is just one of my important areas. So then I sit here where this is called the Izzy trade. Like this is the trade I just took in ES. So I get the volume event there, and I take the trade. If depending on if it validates, so on and so forth. So that's what you get as part of my trade room. You get that free, obviously, and the spreadsheet that I showed you. But if you can't get in the trade room and you want access to the zones, you want access to the spreadsheet, that's this website, right? So you can get the spreadsheet, you can get the inflection zones. What else here? Here's my website, here's my email. If you got questions, here's my Twitter feed. I usually will post trades of the day. I haven't been doing it lately. I just haven't had time. Plus the trade has sucked really bad. And then these are all discounts to the stuff that I use, right? So you got Bookmap, the MBO bundle is not a discount to the MBO bundle, but there is a discount to the software. Here's Apex. So this is what I've been talking about. This is the trader funding company that I use, that I put my name behind. I've been using them for it's almost 3 years now. But guys, this was never available when I got out of the business. Like when I started going downhill as a trader, and what the trading firm basically dissolved, and I was on my own. Like it's either trade your own money, and trust me, when you're trading your own money, and anybody that does it knows it, it's a whole different ballgame when you have to live on your money and your decision making, and you can't take the risk. And this is a godsend. These things are a godsend, and there's some that are just full of crap that are just trying to take your monthly fee and don't have no interest in actually funding you. And then there's ones like Apex that actually want to fund traders and fund traders, and they've paid out more than any of their site. And there's just been a bunch of nonsense that they don't pay, blah blah blah. I've been paid by them multiple times on these accounts. There's traders in my trade room that have been paid as well. So, and they post when they pay. I try to put that in the room when they do, because nothing makes me happier when people are getting paid from trading. Especially what I teach them, that makes me feel good. So anyway, only $326 million to customers since 2022. So 87 million in the last 9 days. So they pay, trust me. Anyway, just if you do any of these, use this code Pulcini50 for any Well, they're only doing 50% off right now? Wow, that's pretty low. It's usually 80 or 90. Anyway, whatever one they have going, you can use that code and get these, so it's not the full price, right? So highly recommend these things if you're, so I have each one of these tied to these trading strategies, right? I'm trading with a trading firm as well now too, my position trading as well as the ATR, but and actually they're coming up with a way with me be able to trade these Apex accounts and then copy the trades straight to them too. But I have these Apex accounts assigned individually to each one of these trading strategies, right? So we can follow along and see the results, so on and so forth. So that's how I do that. Again, guys, if you are learning this stuff or you're not adequately funded, don't risk your own money. Come in here. Even if you're practicing, at least you got some skin in the game. So if you blow out an account, it's only going to cost you, $50, $80, or whatever it is, depending on which account you use. It's not going to like end your life, financial life, but it's gonna hurt, right? So it's not just like trading sim where you don't really care if the thing goes against you, 300 ticks or whatever. You're going to care because you're going to blow out the account, but you're not going to knock yourself out of the financial game, right? So if you're practicing, if you're underfunded, I can't speak more highly of these things, and this is the one I put my name behind. I've tried the other ones over the years, some of the original ones, and they were. I love the one. I'm not going to say who it is, but when I was literally at the end of my rope in 2013, I started using one of them, right, and I did it, and then they would come back and say I got qualified with the ridiculous rules that were already ridiculous to begin with, which makes it very hard to get funded, right? And then I qualified, and they're like, well, now you got to do a top secret. The first one, you have to do a live combine. I'm like, well, what's a live? I thought I just did that. Then I qualify for that. Well, now I got to do a top secret. It's like, you guys are full of crap. And I love that same company, by the way, has been besmirching Apex, coming out and saying bad things about him, which is it's all unfounded, by the way. It's just because they're competitors. But they've had to change. The whole industry has changed because of Apex. They had to change. So this particular company I'm talking about, their rules to get funded were ridiculous. Like even the best traders couldn't get funded because it was so ridiculous, right? And they just wanted to take your fees. Well, now they're coming out, oh yeah, we do this. We're better than Apex at this. We do that. Well, they had to do that, right? It's called competition. So they're just full of it. And again, I'm not going to get into who it is, but they had to change because of Apex, put it that way. All right, so the whipsaw continues. Long NASDAQ, short yes. Hey, at least I got through my entry point. That's kind of cool. So what I do want to watch here is this prior event, right? So this is one of the areas that I get out at. And we just saw crude how it bounced right off that puppy, speaking of which. This is exactly why I try to put my stops outside of it, like I talked about. And this is why I get out at these areas too. So if I was short crude, which I was not, right, I would have got out of some at that event, because this is what they do. It's just insanity. So once again, I'm going to lose on another short trade in crude. I'm like a monkey that keeps sticking his finger in the electrical socket thinking this time it's not going to hurt. So that's going to hurt again. Anyway, if it gets down here, which it almost did right there, if it starts to stutter here at all, I'm getting out of some. So this is a perfect example. What's that in this trade? I'm only going to have about 5.5, 6 points in this trade of profit versus what am I risking on this trade? Right, so I got in at 20, I think it was 23.25 at the time. My stop was at 39. So I'm risking 16 points in this trade to get to make 5. Well, I'm not getting out of my full position, but this is per example, right? So if I'm risking 16 points and you're looking for 2R, so you say, okay, I got to make 32 points before I get out of this trade. Well, that's great. That's you imposing your will on the market, right? So I'm just going to ignore important areas as this moves in my favor, just because I want 2 to 1. We've already talked about that. That is just nonsensical to me, right? So I don't get out of the full position here, but I would get out of, what do I have on, 10? No, I'm sorry, I have 8 on. I'll get out of like 2, right? And then I'll let some ride. And then the last core part of my position, or the core part of my position, so let's say I have 8 on, I'll get out of 2 at one area. I'll get out, and we'll just look at some of the areas that I'll get out at, right? So I would get out of 2 if it stutters at that prior volume event. And then I'll get out of probably another half down here at the top of this market profile composite, right? And then I'll try to always hold one remaining part of my trade to the major lug, which then now you're talking that's a 45-point move, right? Or an opposing volume event. Then I'm out of the whole trade if it turns around and turns out to be a bullish event. And that's how I trade it. I don't just hold the whole thing hoping I get 3R. You can do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, you're going to have enough pain where you're like, damn, man, I should have got out of some at this area. Now it's coming all the way back and stopping me out of the full position. That's the way I trade. You can agree with me or not. I just don't see the sense in imposing your will on the market, just holding trades until you get your whatever R you're looking for.
Order filled.
Put another one of those on. I didn't have enough on there. All right, so that's that. Let's see if you guys got any other questions here. I feel like I've been in this webinar for 5 hours. Jim Thomas, shrink the range on the dome. I know it's a joke. Well, no, I did. I did shrink it. It only goes so far too, right? So you go like this. You hit shift and scroll,
Nat gas iceberg sell
and then it
NT,
does that, and then it goes like
160
it's just so ridiculous. So that's as much as I can shrink it right there. But it's like if I scroll up to put the stop in for the section one I just added, right? So I go up here. Of course, now, yeah, see how it just pops right back off the screen. And then I'll be in the middle, especially NASDAQ, I'll be in the middle of putting in, and then it puts it in a different price. And I got to go find the price. And it's just, it's beyond belief that they can't find a way. If you're going to implement something, have a way to turn it off. If I don't want Auto Center, give me a damn option to turn off Auto Center. I can't, it's unbelievable to me. I emailed them, and I'm like, oh, sorry, we don't have that implemented yet. It's like, what are you talking
Feds
about?
Williams on the wire saying the job market is
All right, guys,
unlikely
sorry.
to be
It's my,
inflation driver going forward.
Market
We see
frustration
unemployment
taken out
fall
on
spot
Trader View, but it is
5% this
ridiculous
year,
that
and
I
around
can't
that in
do that.
2025. I see 2024
what is this guy
GDP
talking
between
about?
2.25 and 2.5% and 2.25% average over the
Let's
next
see
2
what Euro's
years.
doing here.
I expect inflation to wane to 2.25% this year, close to 2% in 2025.
So that flow came in, but it didn't rip yet. This is moving, keeps moving lower, so that's good for at least for my ES short. So this is the newest trace indicator from Spot Gamma. So he's been talking about there's some huge, actually, here, I'll show you what he's talking about here. These have been important areas. Yesterday I bounced in between the two, I believe. Where is he at? So he says here, the 0 date to expiration condor guy is back. This time's 2 times size. So the market literally called it using it as guardrails, and it happened yesterday. I know it gravitated towards the top one. I think it bounced off the bottom. But anyway, these areas are like guardrails just because of the size. So this guy has these positions on, and then the dealers have to hedge these positions, right? So they're going to be playing in the futures to help. This is kind of like the range, right? So anyway, this one was at these are SPX prices, so 58.20. Which is it's up here. Yeah, that's way up here. So 58.20 is up there. That's the upper bound. It's like 58. So it's 20 points higher than this. So it's running around 58.70. Yeah, up here. Right, so this is where that big position is. On the upside, and on the downside, you can't really see it on the. Oh, you can see it on here. Let's see. So 57.50-ish. So that's down here, right? So right around 50, and you can see the size in here. These are very likely dealers in here, right? So, yeah, that's liquidity. So I will, if this thing starts motoring down here. Again, I'm going to get out, if it struggles there, of one of them out of the, again, I'm trading micros on the other account. I got only 2 on the live account, 2 big ones. Anyway, if it struggles, I'll get out of one there of the big ones and a couple of the micros. And then this area, these are these areas that I traditionally will get out if it can't get through here, right? So we already know there's a spot gamma level he's talking about, the big thing, the big condor. You got fall trigger, and then that other spot gamma level and resting liquidity. So if it can't get through here, I'll get out of some there, right? It's great. If I got 2R in it, if I didn't have 2R, it doesn't matter. If it struggles there, I'm getting out. I don't just hold and hope it pushes through important areas. All right, here we are. Let's see if we can at least get down here so I can make a decision. So this is where you want to use your tick strike. So this is another thing I can use. That's in that document. You can get a discount to this too. This is showing me what you can see. Yes, is getting hit. So these are meters. They range from 1 to 15. 15 is the strongest. I have them set at 11, so they only fire off 11 or higher. So this just tells me if they're they're hitting the mag. So say this gets down to this event, which is just like absolute pulling teeth to even get down here, right? But say it gets down here, and I see them hammering these. Well, I'm going to try to see if it can push through. I don't have to get out, right? Why do I want to be the buyer if no one else is buying, right? But if it gets down here and it's as quiet as a church mouse, which it is, and none of these are firing off, I can get out of some. Like that got close. I didn't get out of any. So, this is, that was my decision. But that's one area. I'll do the same thing with down here. So you can use this stuff, and then you can use market pulse too. So this is the volume, pressure, and balance algo. So you go here. Go here, and then so these are create however you want. So here's the ES. This is all default, and I just put mine at an hour for the training period, meaning it's showing me the biggest buying or selling in the last hour. It's showing me that I have the threshold set at 70%. So this is just telling me this is 70% or higher of the most buying or selling in the last hour. All right, so this one got immediately rejected. This is part of the stop run. But you can see there that black there. So my point is, when you get to an important area, watch to see what's going on here, right? So say, hey, are they heavy buying and heavy selling it, or is it just doing nothing? That can help you get out of the trade, right? So it came down here. It didn't quite get to where I was looking to get out of some, but you can see nothing's going on in here. So there's not really heavy or buying or selling here. So you can judge if they start hammering it and you see this thing turn that black tip, well, it might just rip right through there. And if not, you get out of some because you don't want to see sellers engaging and then not winning, right? So we'll try to cover that if that happens. I'm not going to get into it now, but we do have you can trade off of this too. It's more of a scalp trade. It's not anywhere near as strong as these volume events, but it's still important information. You want to know when they're buying, there's heavy buying or heavy selling. This is a perfect example in crude where I got filled to the damn tick, and I'm probably going to get stopped out of this, right? You can see these sellers came in here. This was the most selling in the last hour. Looked like they had them, and then nope. So that right there is telling you something's up, right? If players are engaging in this market and they don't get their way, well, how do you think they're feeling right now? How would you feel if you just dumped a boatload into the market, boatload of sell orders, and you're expecting that, and now you're sitting here underwater? Well, you're like, let me the hell out of the trade, right? So this is very important information. It's not as important as this stuff, but it is important. That's market pulse, volume, pressure, and balance. And I got a bunch of different algos on here. I haven't even really started to tap in all this stuff, and they keep adding stuff. They actually made market pulse for me. It was my request. I asked them to come up with something that was similar to this, but better, right? I still use this. It's important, but you can't see history. There's a lot of drawbacks as far as what I wanted to see. And I've contacted them. I've been using Tick Strike for like 14 years now. And I contacted the owner and I said, I want to go back and say, hey, when Microsoft and Apple and Amazon were all negative 15, what did the market do? Or could I see some history? And they to this day don't have a history for it. So I still use it because it's a different variation of the market pulse, but there's no history. So market pulse is Tick Strike on steroids. So anyway, they came up with this per my request. Then they just took it and ran with it. Now they've got all these different algos. Like, look at the pace of take, price change. This is important too. I haven't even got a chance to even dive into any of these besides basically volume, pressure, and balance. But so that's not even absorption pressure, and balance. So that's just, and balance just means the net of it, right? Icebergs pressure, liquidation pressure, multi-algo, whatever the hell that is, order book pressure, pace. You can see they just have made this thing insane. So depending on what, I'm not going to dive into these right now, but there's all these different options that can help you judge what the hell is going on. And what the hell is going on is Whipsaw City as usual. So that came close. The way these markets have been trading, I probably should have got out a couple there, but I didn't. So And I'm still long NASDAQ. So this trade is just brutal. That's all I say lately. I mean, look at this market. So what I will do here on this NASDAQ trade, though, so this is a variation. I don't like talking about it. I don't even like talking about it in my trade room because it's just not an official setup. But I've just noticed, again, just pattern recognition, right? It's my gift. It's always been my gift. This market tried the ATR, hit the ATR, bounced off the zone, hit the ATR, bounced off the zone, hit the ATR. So I should have already been honest. This comes back again. I don't have to let the stop come all the way to there. I'm going to get out of this long right there. I'm going to save myself 38 points on that, 39 points, whatever that is. See what I'm saying? So this is a variation. Don't confuse yourself. This will be my exit. I force the market to get the ATR outside the ATR out of the zone, right? If it keeps tagging the ATR and can't go, you need to exit it. So I'll be getting out of there if this comes back again. As far as this, do this to an ATR, yeah. So this, you can do the same thing here, right? This is tagged the ATR a couple times. I don't have to let this stop me out all the way up here now, right? Here's your ATR. Here's your retest. Here's your ATR. It didn't quite get there, but here's your ATR again. Here's another retest. So I could save myself 7 points here and move it just outside the zone versus risking all the way up there, just because it's telling me something that it can't go, right? So I'm going to actually move my stop to there. This is a variation. Please, if you're just learning this or using the zone drawing tool, this is not part of what we're doing, but it's a pattern that I've just recognized that you don't have to let it come all the way up here to stop you out if it's tried multiple times, aka hitting an ATR. So I'm going to put my stop at 30. So you can look at this line, not this price. This price is the top of the zone. So this price, if you look at the bottom left there, it's 33. So I'll put it one tick outside there. So I'm going to put my stop for this ES short, Izzy short I have on at 33.25 versus 38.75. So I'm going to save myself 5 points potentially. It's just brutal trade, guys. I don't know what to tell you. It's not fun. Of course, TraderBait keeps spinning on me. All right, so that's where I'm putting that stop if that comes back up there, and then if NASDAQ comes back again, I'm getting out of these right at the bottom of the zone. I don't care. I know it's in a prior event, so on and so forth. This thing is getting taken multiple chances. I'm out right here, but you see it bounce right off that damn line too. So I'm going to put it 63.50. I'm going to stop out of these NASDAQ longs if it comes back again. And that's Whipsaw City. Anyway, just to finish up this document, this is the other stuff that I used that I was talking about. So Apex, use Pulcini 50, Spot Gamma. If you use code SCOTT, you'll get 2 weeks for free off any subscription. So do the max one where you get the trace, you get the hero. Put that in when you check out. And this is a little confusing too, right? So when you go over here, let's see if it even brings me there, right? So go to pricing. Obviously pick the highest one, right? See, they have theirs in here right now. Click on this. Why is it not clicking? Oh wait, sorry. Go over here. See where it says using coupon, and then put in Scott. This should work. If it was working, let's see. 2 weeks for free, and that's again for the yearly. You can do the monthly too, but that gets you 2 weeks for free there. And then Take Strike, we just talked about that. Click on that, and that gives you discounts to that. Trader Sync, this is very important. I need to be way better at this. I'm actually starting to use it with the trading firm, and I got to keep track of all my trades. It's time consuming, but you want to know it. Click on that. Lots of guys in my room use this. This will give you so you can keep track of your stats for markets and times a day. And we're actually entering the time of day that I've lost millions of dollars over my career. Between 10:15 and 12:30 Central is just a no-go most days, especially in this kind of trade. I just would literally I used to physically remove myself from the office so I wouldn't trade, because that's when the algos. If you think the algos are bad overall, try between 10 and 12. You're just asking for trouble. Ludwig levels, we talked about this. Go to this. These things are the second most powerful thing I've ever seen. This is our 1978 website that I always make fun of her about. Put your name in, Just say you saw it on the Bookmap webinar, you get special pricing. You can try them out for 3 days. Once you try them out, you're never going to go back. I can promise you, they are ridiculously good. And then here's the Trustpilot reviews. And again, they're all positive except for one jackass that he got mad because I didn't kiss his ass because he wanted something. So I won't get into that either. I could easily get into that right now, and because I want to bitch really bad about how bad these markets are, but I won't. Let's just do a quick rundown before I hop off here. I mean, we got another 15 minutes, but I mean, there's just nothing happening anywhere. It's very trying times in the old markets lately. Bonds earlier, there was a bunch of, this was into the CPI numbers, so I mean, this is not really tradable. This is like a full point. This is just because all the liquidity pulls, right? So it's like for them to get their orders done, it swipes. So I would have been paying attention to these events, and you can see this stuff was bearish. Elbow guy was bearish. I was looking at this, but I didn't put this trade on because I don't like easy winners. Anyway, there's your ATR. Here's your retest. I don't know if I've talked about that pattern before. And then lower. So that was a good bond short if you took that. There hasn't been anything in wheat. So we'll go over this quickly since nothing's happening. I'll go over these markets. This is what I do every morning for the room. I'll cover these markets and what I'm seeing as far as structure, aka come up with a thesis, right? I'll trade long or short depending on the volume of that in my area. But if I get an opinion, aka a thesis of a market, and then I get a volume event in that direction, I trade bigger size. That's an A+ trade, right? So I learned that from SMB Capital. I was learning to trade stocks when I got back in the business in 2017 because I was so jaded by futures from being a millionaire to going to zero and couldn't make money.
Stock by NQ, 237 contracts.
Anyway, they ground their traders if they have A+ trades and they don't trade bigger. So the point is you go for the throat. When everything aligns, you go for the throat. You trade bigger. You don't want to blow out your account. Don't trade, more than 6% on a trade.
Bills total 304, spot 5.
I mean, meaning you shouldn't be losing more than 6% of your account size in a day, right? But if you're willing, you say this is the best trade I've seen in weeks, fine, risk 6%. But if you lose, you got to be done for the day. See what I'm saying? That's why you should be risking only 2% max on your trades. It gives yourself a few trades to have losers. But if you want to fire on one, fine. Just be ready to be done if it doesn't work out. All right, we got stops here. Now what I can do for these longs I have on, I could trail my stop to this event, which is right here. So usually I would say I'm going to move it out of there. I already said I was going to get out of this if this came back again. If this comes back again, I'm out at this normal spot, right? I'm fine with it if it bounces off this damn zone. It's already bounced off it 15 times. So 82.75. Here we go. You can see this. So this is not good for my short. Again, I had posing positions on. That's what it told me to do. I am getting out with a hot knife through butter scenario here. That's what we call it, HTK Bay. 30. What did I put in it? 33.25. So remember, I moved it down because this is our retest of this zone a couple times too. So I'll be out there and watch these markets continue to go higher. What I am watching for, though, we already talked about this, off of a new event, because that last one's already proven bearish. So that's why I got short, because I had the event in this Izzy zone. But say this starts ripping higher and I get a new event, I'm taking a failed balance breakdown of this structure, where I will trade that strategy, and I'm going to trade double size longs. Like, why would you not? All it does is go up, right? So now you're getting a thesis that's looking bullish too. Like, the thing goes up even when everything looks like it's going to fall apart. Well, you can imagine what it does when the thing looks bullish, right? So if this breaks above this area right now, I get a new event, I'm going to obviously stop out of this short, and I'm going to go long. I'm going to go long FBB strategy, and I'm going to trade double size. And you can see that these lines are ridiculous, these prices. So this touched that exact. So I had it just above there. That's why I do that. So this comes up to 33, I'm out. And then I'll be looking for a new event there. And like I said, I got to trail my longs here to this event. Now it's 20, 30, 82, 25. That's my stop for that. Remember, I have two different, I put on Bark and Lick twice here. And I'm still long. Again, so this move isn't that as painful because I have opposing positions on, but it's still painful. On the ES side, 82.25. All right, so those stops are in. See if you guys got any other questions. Choppy price action, RD says. Yeah, I'd say. Oh boy, Scott, do you have a discount on Spot Gamma as well? It's not a discount per se. They already have the discount, but just use Scott. You get 2 weeks for free, and then they already have the discount on there, right? For their new tray stuff, too. I think it was on there a second ago. I think it's 50% off or something. Let's see.
Fitzwilliam says economic activity is largely balanced across the economy.
Trace 40, you get that. But I think you also get, like I said, I think if you put in the Scott, I forgot what that just said. I think you still get the discount too. Let's see. No, but I'm not sure. I shouldn't say I have no control over this, but you get the 2 weeks for free. And then if you want to apply the discount, I'm pretty sure they'll give you the discount that the original discount you saw on there. Don't know that for sure, but the answer is always no unless you ask, right? So give that a shot. Worst case scenario is try out for 2 weeks. And you can get the Trace and the Hero and start to watch. I mean, the thing's been working incredibly lately just because there's no other players in here but the damn options players, right? So, stupid options players. The Hero is what cost me this morning. I thought the short was it, and then the Hero just said, nope, not so much. So, anyway, go watch his webinars. I'm still learning this new Trace too, but guys, it's important because these are big players in the market, obviously futures players. So you want to know what they're doing. And the red is the whatever color this is more resistance. This is obviously support. It comes in here, and you can see it already bounced out of their one. So you can see it gets more blue down here. That's right where that big position, and you can see where the 0 day to expiration positions are, right? To know like where the market might gravitate towards. So this may gravitate towards this if we ever sell off, which that'll never happen. There's not a lot of positions above here. And you can turn this off too to see the regular position. So this is longer term. This isn't 0 day to expiration. So
11:30 a.m.
just go watch his. Just go to
US
Spot Gamma YouTube.
95
You can watch his
billion
webinars on this stuff.
bills. Prior bid to
I'm
cover
learning,
of
just
2
learning this now
spot
too.
and prior high
The one
yield
I've been
of
using the
4
longest is the actual Hero,
7.55%.
right? And this is showing you just the options activity real time. And this updates a lot sooner than the Trace too. So, and then I look at S&P 500. You can look at the actual SPX by itself. We were getting a bunch of
GC short entered.
All right, so I'm still short gold. And then I think there was another. Did this turn out to be a Bark and Lick too? I think I only had on. This was so long ago. That was an ATR retest. I don't know. Algo guy's just pulling now though. So I could take Barks and Licks. Hey, look at that. I can't believe it tagged that exact price. This comes back, I'll put on Barks and Licks too, because you can see this liquidity down here. So I'm going to put those on too. That entry is at 23. I'm already short stuff from earlier. There was Izzy and something else. I can't remember. But 2638.2, I could put on 5. I'm going to put that on this live account as well. 5 micros, that is. Based on my risk level, risky $500 per trade. 26,
Fitzwilliams says
38.2.
latest data has been consistent with recent
Or
trends.
you can say this is trade's horrible. It's also between the 10 and 12 time period. I'm not doing anything, and I would not question you one iota. I wouldn't question you if you said I'm not trading the rest of the day, because this is brutal. But you just got to endure it. So when you're sitting here, instead of just watching this thing whipsaw back and forth, work on your trading, work on your strategy. So when the market picks up again, and it will, you're ready to go. 2638.2. All right, that's working. See if this is doing anything relevant. It's rallying. Mag 7 is very important too, obviously. There's the highest weighted stock, so the market will not do anything unless this thing is a green. Right? So this is actually at least not on its highs. Yeah, I'm it is what it is. I'm long and Q. I'm short, yes, but I'm able to trail my stop based on this new event. And then I could put on Barks and Licks again off of this if this turns bullish, right? And what did I say I would do off of this event? I said if there was a new event, I was taking a failed balance breakout of this guy, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Granted, again, it's between 10 and 12. Have fun with this trade if it gets put on. Here's your balance. Here's your attempted down. Here's your move back up through the high volume node. Here's an event. I will take that aggressively. That trading strategy, right? On the flip side, if this turns bearish, this is why, guys, I wait for the event to tell me. I could take an Izzy short here too if this fails, right? So I don't know what I'm doing yet because what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for this thing to get an ATR out of here. If it moves up higher, I have long strategies. If it moves lower, I have short strategies. So I am going to, if this fails, I'll stop out of the longs I have on, and I'm going to put on an Izzy short, and I'm just going to go get in here. If you want to move it through, back down through all this stuff, have fun. I just don't feel like risking another 50 points because this thing has had plenty of chances to rip. If it doesn't rip, I'm just going to take my Izzy short there. And if it rips higher, I'm going to put on the failed balance breakout there. And then I can actually add to the bark and lick too if it goes ATR, retest, confirm. So I got 3 different long strategies I'm working there. I've got a short strategy if it moves lower. Let's see if this is a market profile area as well. Nothing market profile until way up here as far as composites, right? Those are just value areas of multiple days I merged together. I did say I was going to get out of some at the yellow lug here, right? So I should be getting out of some of these original, didn't quite get there. I'll give it one more pop. This is pretty close. You know, when you get to these areas, you don't need the exact price. Like, if you're talking 5 to 10 points in NASDAQ, that's pretty good. I've already missed my opportunity there. Now I'm talking 20 points away from there. But if this comes back up here, I already talked about, this is one of the areas that I will piece out of my trade. So I've got 6 on. I'll get out of 3 right around this yellow lug if I get one more chance at it. If I don't, then I'm going to stop out. But I should already, if I was watching that more closely.
It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
Get
The
one more
US
little
is to
spike here,
sell
and I'll get out of some
$95
of
billion
these.
in 4-week bills.
And then
prior
again,
to
this is a
cover
new
of
event. I could just put them right back on
yield of
based on this guy,
4.75%.
right? But I already said based on that stuff
We also
earlier, I was
expect
getting out of some of the yellow
comments
lug.
from
Here
SMB's
we go. It's
Martin.
getting close. I'm going to just get out of a couple here, especially if I don't hear the tick strike firing off. I'm going to get out of half of them. So that's still firing off. I'm going to give this a chance. This is why I use this, right? There's Google. Microsoft just fired off. Let's see if this can get going. This was volume, pressure, and balance. This is part of the stop runs, but this was the most buying in the last hour in this area too. It's just like watching paint dry, though, is what it's like. You can't even really make decisions because it just like sits here and spins. Right. So if you're long, this is going to help the market go up because I'm going to get out of half right here. There's that one. You're welcome if you're long. All right, I got out of half there. Close enough to the yellow lug for me. Within 10 seconds, this thing's probably going to rip to this liquidity because that's just how it goes for me lately. All right, so again, I got long. This was all earlier in the webinar. Right, I got long bark and lick off of this original stop run here. That retested there, got long there, and then I added to it off of that event, this buy ice event, and I said if it got to the yellow lug, I would put out and take off half, and I just got out of half. So I did everything I said I was going to do. And then if this proves higher, I could put on the failed balance breakout we just talked about, and then if it goes that, and then I could put on barks and licks again. That's the great thing about this stuff too, is you catch a trending market. Not that this is really trending right now, but you can keep adding to your position, and you're adding based on a new event, and you just trail your stop to that most recent event. I'm about to be put on my misery on the ES short. Need another couple points. I'm out of that. This is just, it's just a rough trade, guys. I don't know what to tell you. All right, again, I put it up, like move my stop down to just above the zone at 33. All right, see if we got any other questions, and I gotta take a break. I'm real sick of watching this stuff. Alex, sorry, Scott, I'm not sure you said move the stop loss on NQ or not. Yes, I move my stop loss always based on a new event. That's the only time I will stop out of the trade. I don't trail my stop to break even. I don't trail my stop so I lock in a profit. I let the market tell me where I should trail my stop to. I'm trailing my stop based on something that happened in the market, not my self-imposement of what I want the market to do. You see what I'm saying? So I get out, like you saw me get out at the yellow lug. I got out of some. I got out of half. So I have on. I'm only trailing my stop based on events, not
TM short
anything else.
validated.
I got some grain stuff too. I'm not even going to even look at grains right now. All right, any other questions, guys? Why do I keep seeing messages retracted? Why are you guys yelling at me? In there. All right, I'm still short crude. So okay, this another perfect example, right? I'm not saying it's fun. I'm saying it's probably what's going to happen, right? Like this is why I don't. So I got filled to the tick there, right? This is why I don't stop out during the nonsense. I say, okay, you're going to prove me wrong. Come back to the ATR, get through the volume event, get all the way outside of another ATR, then uncle. That helps me avoid this nonsense. So not to say that this is going to be a winning trade, but I just don't let them stop me out in the nonsense. Prove me wrong, you win on the next trade. If you have an edge, you do enough of them, you will be profitable. And this is the best edge I've ever seen. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. All right, guys, I'm done. I got to take a break. This is just brutal. Short crude. I'm short. Did I get short? Yeah, I'm already short gold, but I'll put on Barkston Lick so this comes back gold. Like I said, if you don't want to trade this time period, not a bad idea. And then I will put on the FBB off of NASDAQ, this price. I'll put on 3, and then I watch for Barkston Licks potentially there. I'm still long. Now, if this fails, I could put on an Izzy short. And then the only other thing I have on is this Izzy short I put on an ES earlier. And then I move my stop down based on the hot knife through butters. It's just a variation of what we do. It's more advanced if you want to learn and come in the trade room. I'm not going to get into it here, but it's just it's a way to kind of control your risk a little bit when the thing just cannot go after multiple attempts at the ATR. We've already talked about all this. All right, guys, that's it. I'm out. You know, if you're struggling right now, just cut down your size, cut down your loss limit for the day. It has been very difficult trade for literally 3 weeks to a month. So if you're struggling, it's not, you know, if you're following your rules. If you're not following your rules, then there's nothing I can do but for you or anything I can tell you, right? You're just not trading well. But if you're following all your rules and you're losing, it's just a function of the markets have been very challenging lately. It is chop city, and it's really wearing when you watch it for hours and hours and hours and hours, right? So you really got to make sure that you're not making mental mistakes and you follow your rules. That's all you can do. It will pick up, I promise. And you're going to have, like I had a great day yesterday, right? And then back to the chop yesterday. So just control your risk on the downside, meaning stop yourself out when you hit your risk on the downside. Are the best to stay on sideline with choppy action? Absolutely. But when do you know when it's not going to be choppy, right? So that's the flip side of that. You got to just keep putting them on most of the time. So just limit your risk, right? Say, okay, I usually risk 6% on my account size. I'm only risking 3 today. I'm gonna give it one shot on a trade. If it doesn't work, I'm done. Something like that. All right, I do this every day in my trade room. Come on by and we can watch paint dry together. Other than that, I will see you guys next Thursday.